I used to believe my life was over, and for years I was trapped in what felt like a prison of chronic fatigue syndrome. Every doctor's visit, every new supplement that didn't work, just really hammered home the belief that I was broken beyond repair. The four walls of my bedroom were my entire world, and hope felt like a word of a foreign language. But what if I told you that one of the biggest things holding me back wasn't just the illness itself, but a hidden belief buried deep in my own mind? So in this video, we're going to talk about the core beliefs that can keep you stuck in that cycle of symptoms, and I'm going to give you some tools to start loosening their grip. So maybe this sounds familiar. You wake up and you start, the first thing you do is start scanning your body for symptoms. And that leaden weight in your limbs and the fog in your brain, the ache that settles deep down in your muscles, well, that morning scan dictates your entire day, your mood, what you've even, tried to do, and how you feel about your life. And it kicks off a devastating cycle. The symptoms create fear, and the fear makes you avoid things and become hyper aware of every little sensation. And that constant state of internal alarm can by itself keep the very symptoms you're terrified just going. So it's an exhausting and incredibly lonely place to be. You feel misunderstood by your doctors who tell you your lab tests are normal, and you feel the sting of losing the person that you once were, the career you loved, the friendships you treasured, and you probably tried everything: special diets, dozens of supplements, maybe even extensive treatments that promised the world but delivered very little. And after a while, a deep sense of hopelessness can really set in. And it's easy to start believing that this is just going to be your life now, and the illness stops being a diagnosis and starts becoming your identity. And there's no longer a person who has ME/CFS, but you become a chronically ill person. And this is that stuck feeling. It's a prison built from a very real physical symptoms, but the bars are forged from despair and the belief that you're never going to get out. So a narrative study on people who have recovered from severe CFS found that a critical turning point was often a profound shift from feeling like a helpless victim to developing a new sense of self-agency. So what does this actually mean for you? It means that we need to look at the invisible architecture of your mind, your core beliefs. So think of core beliefs as the operating system running in the background of your life. They're the fundamental truths, and you hold about yourself, your body, and the world. And they aren't just passing thoughts. They're the deeply ingrained convictions that filter every single experience that you have. And many are formed unconsciously from early childhood and what society tells us. And so many with this illness, it can feel invalidating. So a classic core belief for someone with CFS often gets cemented in the early days. So maybe you push yourself to have a normal day and it led to a devastating crash, and that left you in bed for a week. So your brain, trying to protect you, creates a belief pushing yourself is dangerous. So activity equals harm. So while that belief becomes the real and painful place, it can become a rigid, overgeneralized rule that keeps you trapped long after, it's no longer helpful. So the goal isn't to pretend that crash didn't happen, but to understand how it shaped a belief that might now be holding you back from finding any sense of improvement. And the first step to changing these beliefs is to drag them out into the light. And I love this because many are so automatic that we don't even know they're there. So as I go through these common examples, just simply notice them without judging yourself, and which ones land for you, which ones, make you feel that little pang of recognition. So let's start with health and improvement beliefs. These are some of the most powerful. So my body is permanently damaged and fragile, or I'm never going to get back to my old life, or my health is out of my control, only a miracle can save me, or I'm destined to live with this illness forever, or maybe my symptoms are a sign of more damage, not just a sign of my nervous system. So yeah. Next up is activity-related beliefs. These often run in our daily lives. So maybe you think that I have to avoid all exertion to prevent a crash. Or if I feel a little bit better, I have to do everything right now before the energy is gone again. So this is the boom and bust cycle. Another one is I can't trust my body to tell me its limits. Or just resting is making me weaker and more deconditioned. And then we have food and nutrition beliefs. That maybe you believe that you have to follow this super strict diet perfectly or you're going to get a flare-up. Or maybe even think that normal food is basically poison for your body. Or maybe you have a long list of the bad foods that will always trigger your symptoms. And finally, the broader life beliefs that the illness loves to glom on. I'm a burden to my friends and family. I'm not worthy of a happy and healthy life, or my value comes from being productive. And since I can't do anything else, I'm absolutely worthless. So take a second. Did any of those hit home? And if it feels comfortable, share in the comments which belief you're ready to start challenging. So just acknowledging it is a massive first step. So okay, so you may have spotted the pattern. Now what? You can't just stop believing it. It doesn't work that way. The process has to be gentle, curious, and consistent. So you're basically retraining your brain and nervous system to learn a new, safer way of being. So I'm going to explain my 4-step process that can help you today. Step 1 is awareness. This is what you just did. Simply notice the belief when it pops up. Don't fight it. Don't judge it. Just say, there's that thought again, and the belief that my body is broken. And just name it and see it for what it is. It's just simply a thought pattern, not an unchangeable fact. And step 2 is curiosity. Get curious about the belief. Ask it in gentle questions. For instance, is the belief I will never get better? Or you could ask, is this 100% true that I'm never going to get better or improve? Has there ever been a moment, even for a few seconds, where I felt a tiny bit better? And what did that feel like? So you aren't trying to invalidate your own suffering. You're just looking at the cracks in the belief's certainty. So step 3 is gentle reframing and replacement. Now you create a new, more empowering belief. Here's the key though. It has to feel believable to you. So jumping from my body is broken to my body is perfectly healthy is too big of a leap. Your nervous system will just laugh at you, and instead find a bridge belief. Maybe something, my body has an incredible capacity for healing and I can learn to support it. Or it's possible for me to find moments of ease and safety today. Or maybe I'm learning to listen to my body with curiosity instead of fear. My body is sending me signals, not threats. So write down this new belief and stick it on your bathroom mirror, your computer, or wherever you're going to see it. Now I want to talk about embodiment. This is the part that really cements the change. You have to basically prove the new belief to your brain with a small, gentle physical action. So neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to rewire itself, and it's built on experience. But if your old belief was that activity is harmful, and your new belief is it's safe for me to explore gentle movement, then the embodiment could be standing up and stretching your arms for just 10 seconds while paying close attention to how your body actually feels in that moment. And you're collecting new evidence. So evidence is safety. Evidence is the capacity. You're teaching your brain that your nervous system, that it's okay to stand down. So empowerment, you are the agent of your healing. So I want to be really clear about something. This is not just positive thinking your way out of this really real biological illness, ECFS. It is a really complex multi-system illness, and your symptoms are not all in your head. However, the brain and nervous system act as the control tower for all of these systems. So when your brain is constantly perceiving danger, whether from the illness itself or from a deeply held belief, it keeps the body locked in chronic stress, which promotes inflammation and gets in the way of healing. So, think of it like a car alarm that's way too sensitive. It goes off not just for, a break-in, but when a leaf lands on the windshield. And our work isn't to ignore the alarm, but to gently recalibrate its sensitivity, teaching it the difference between a real threat and a perceived one. So for me, a huge shift came when I moved from believing that rest is the only way, to not get worse, to gentle, mindful action is how I can show my body that it's safe. And that single change allowed me to move from a place of passive waiting to actively participating in improving my quality of life. And it was a slow process, but it was the key that helped me, gain some power back. So you are not a helpless victim of your symptoms. You are an active agent on your own healing journey. So if this message resonates with you and you're looking for a little more support to challenge these beliefs to better manage chronic symptoms, then I do invite you to learn about our recovery system program. It's a clear step-by-step approach to help you gently work your nervous system, lower the internal stress, and just basically feel more in control of your health. You're going to get 6 months of personalized coaching, daily tools, and a community of people who actually get it. So if you're ready to create some lasting change, you can simply book a free brain rewiring discovery call so that we can talk to you and help you create a personalized plan. We do keep the groups intentionally small so that you do get personalized attention. And I'll put a link in the description below, so if you want to check it out, yes, I would love for you to do so. So if this video was helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and maybe share it with someone who needs a little bit of hope. And drop one limiting belief you're challenging in the comments and the small action that you're going to take this week. And remember, your beliefs shape your reality. You can become aware of them, you can question them, and you can gently and patiently begin to rewrite them. Your journey towards feeling better doesn't have to start with some magic pill. It can start with these single, powerful shifts in what you believe is possible for yourself. You have way more power than you think. Start today.